Good morning, Rotarians and other friends. This is Krishnan, President, Rotary Club of Madras, Besant Nagar. We start the meeting now, and we are honored that today we have amongst us PDG Rotarian Rekha Shetty with us. She is not a stranger to our club. She has been a guest of honor when our Rotarian VCK was installed as the president of the club for the second time. So we welcome you, madam. And now I hand over the session to Arun to proceed with the session.
Thank you, President. Good morning, all of you, Rotarians and ANs, and good morning, PDG Rekha Shetty. Just a very brief intro. Rotarian PDG Rekha Shetty has a very, very long resume, which I am unable to compress within a very short time available. But primarily, she is a professional, a PhD from Madras University. And she has been associated with the Rotary for more than 3 decades and hails from a family which is also engaged in Rotary activities for several decades. She is also an author of several books and in terms of she is also the world's first women charter president of Rotary Club of Madras Temple City. And she had won several awards in the district as well as in the RI convention. Welcome, PDG Rekha Shetty. And oh, thank you. Welcome, Rotarian Maithili.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Sorry for the delay. Too many programs because of Women's Day going on.
I agree.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sorry I hand it over to you for the introduction. I think I didn't make it do justice. So
definitely, it's a pleasure always introducing Rekha, one dynamic lady from our district. I'm really proud. Dr. Rekha Shetty is an author, an entrepreneur, and an original thinker in management and the social sciences. She is the managing director of Farstar Distribution Network Limited, which consults for blue chip companies in India and Southeast Asia in creativity and innovation for the last 23 years, I'm sorry. She is a founder of the well-known Minds Power brand and is popularly known as the corporate doctor. A PhD in the management sciences from Madras University. Her academic career is studded with honors, including 2 university ranks. She was a member of the syndicate of the renowned Anna University, where she introduced a 40-week optional course on creativity for budding engineers and was on the board of studies of psychology and management at the University of Madras. She was a member of the managing committee Madras Management Association for 5 years. She was also its treasurer. She has written 11 books, mostly published by Penguin. Her books are mostly on the subjects of innovation and happiness and have been bestsellers. Rekha had started a career with the United India Insurance Company and was a vice president of the Apollo Hospitals Group, where she redefined services marketing and developed original concepts. 21 years ago, she was the world's first woman charter president of a Rotary Club of Madras Temple City, a club with an equal member of women and men. She won the Best Conference Award in Zone 6 during a governorship for the district conference and collected the award at RI convention in Buenos Aires. She was a chairperson of Rotary Action Group for Population and Development, the largest action group in Rotary in the between the years 2012 and 2015. She was a chairperson of Child Development Committee for Rotary India Literacy Mission, also on the board of WASRA, a water and sanitation initiative. For the last 11 years, she has had many global assignments to improve vision and eradicate avoidable blindness. Blindness is a goal, and she has been awardable blindness advisor to health concerns task force of Rotary International. She was a director of water and sanitation Rotary Action Group, and she has been involved in water resources, part of sustainable development, and was Zone 6 coordinator for the Rotary year 2007 and 11. She was COL 2019 representative from RA District 3232. There were only 4 enactments adopted at the COL from Rotary, South Asia, of which 2 were presented by Rekha. On the organizing committee of 2006 RA convention at Malmo, Copenhagen, she offered and helped implement some original ideas to enable grassroots Rotarians to participate. She has represented the RA president in India and abroad at several district conferences. She has been invited to speak at conferences worldwide. She is a recipient of Service Above Self Award and is a major donor. She was invited by the US State Department to be a part of an expert team from 10 countries to study the problems and solutions to drug addiction. Rekha has been awarded the Outstanding Young Person Award by JCs. Married to Rotarian past President Jay Shetty and daughter of PDG Boja Shetty, she has been a part of the Rotary family for over 50 years as a Rotaractor, and a Rotarian. Her 2 sons, Adil and Arjun, are brilliant entrepreneurs and founders of bankbazaar.com. And I proudly present Dr. Rekha Shetty in this August audience. Thank you. Thank you so much. And wish you all good luck for this Bhagavad Gita series 813, which is going on month after month, very strong and very successful. And we are going to complete all the 18 chapters by this Rotary year. Thank you, Rotary Club.
Please invite me. I would like to attend as many as possible. And I want to listen to the old ones. If you've got a recording, up to 12, I want to listen.
Yes, I think it's been recorded already.
Yeah. I will share the links. Thank you, Rotarian Maithili, for stepping at the right moment, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to introduce.
So that's a long introduction. I thought she'd say what she knows about me. She didn't say anything.
No, we need to read this because Women's Day is coming, and you're really, empowered.
Inspiration.
Yes.
No, I think the way she has introduced, she has given you your personality in total. It's an amazing achievement.
All Rotarians are her fans. All Rotarians are Rekha ji's fans today.
Yes.
We love her so much.
Wow.
Thank you. Since
I
time
think it's a mutual admiration society. They're so lucky to have, know each other.
Yes. I would like to commence the session. Rotarian PHF PG Kupusamy, our resource head for today's session. He will be presenting on chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita in relation to the lessons we can carve out of it for peace building and conflict prevention. Over to you, Rotarian Kupusamy.
Okay. I'll start with the good morning. Starting with good morning, Rekha Shetty. Good morning, Maithili, and all the organizers, Arun, our club president, and all the other Rotarians, aunts, and guests. Good morning to you once again, and nice to be back with you. Today, we are going to cover the chapter 13, titled Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, 35 verses, 13th chapter. Today we are entering the last 6 chapters, Sharma Shatkam. First 6 chapters, second and last 6 chapters, very subtle and then very important chapter section. And we are going to enter, and then we are going to do 1 chapter today, consisting of 35 verses. Starting with Pranam to Swamiji Paramartha Ananda, who taught us all these things. I'm sharing as a student, sharing with students. Now, it is very important to give a kind of overview in 1 slide. If somebody says, give me the whole Bhagavad Gita in 1 slide in 1 minute. Suppose somebody tells, this is the slide. First 6 chapters, chapter 1 to 6, focus on Karma Yoga and who am I? These two questions. Then Karma Yoga means right action with the right attitude. Right action means where more people are benefited. Right attitude means dedicate action to God and take all the result as his gift. Who am I? I am not the body mind. I am the Atma consciousness. First 6 chapters. Second 6 chapters which completed focus on Upasana Yoga, Dhyanam, meditation. Focus on Ishta Devata Upasana. Then expand. Vishwarupa Upasana. Vishwa means universe. Upasana. See that you see God as the whole universe and see the whole universe as God. This is the stages you do the Upasana, the thing. And then who is he? He is the creator, cause of the whole universe. He is the parent, father, mother of the whole universe. This is the second 6 chapter which we completed. The thing. The third 6 chapter, 13 to 18, which we are starting, focusing on Jnana Yoga, the relationship between him and me. The first 6 chapter, second 6 chapter, we learned about me, we learned about him, and what is our relationship. And then the virtues we should develop to understand and gain this knowledge. This is going to be the focus on the last 6 chapter. We are entering that. Summarizing this thing also, Karma Upasana Yoga alone give me the emotional benefit. The reduction of conflict and building up of peace. Building up of peace. First chapter and second 6 chapter alone, Karma Upasana gives me the emotional benefit, reduction of conflict and building up of peace. The Jnana Yoga, the next 6 chapters, what we are going to enter, will show you, don't worry, you are that Mr. and Miss Peace. You don't have to get the peace and all those kinds of things. You are Mr. and Miss Peace. You are Ananda and you are Shanti. That's what's going to be taught in the next 6 chapters. This is the summary of the whole thing. Now, the chapter 13 is going to be divided in this following topics. I don't know. First, Arjuna's question to Krishna to explain the 6 new terms. The usual thing. Arjuna asks doubts and Krishna answers. But this is not Arjuna's question, it is our question. 6 new terms and explain in verse 1. Number 2, verse 2, topic 2, Kshetram, Kshetrajna. It all be explained. 2 to 7, verse 2 to 7. Jnanam, 8 to 12. Jneyam, 13 to 19. Purushan Prakriti, 20 to 24. Sadhanam and Phalam, method of gaining this knowledge and the benefit is 25 to 35. This is how we always conclude, do the thing. All these Sanskrit words are so simple, not to complicate thing. Okay. Arjuna's question, verse 1. What is Prakriti? What is Purusha? What is Kshetram, Kshetrajna, Jnanam, Jneyam? These 6 questions he asked to Krishna. Though Arjuna asked for 6 topics, 6 things, it is essentially 3 only 3. Because of his ignorance, he asked with the 6 names. But finally, it is 3. Krishna is going to tell 3. But when we finish all the 18th chapter, the 3 is also not correct. It's finally 1, Sarvamekam Brahma. But we will not come to that now. It will be 3. Kshetrajna, Jneyam, and Purusha mean the same thing. God, Brahman. Kshetram, Prakriti, mean the same matter principle. World, place, location, etc. This is the thing. Jnanam, in this context, in this chapter, means the values, ethics, what you should gain to get the knowledge. The thing. Krishna replies this to Arjuna in a different order. Arjuna asks question in one way, Krishna replies in another order. Okay, let's go on Krishna's order. Topic 2, Kshetram, very well known word. World, body, place, location. That is Kshetram. The entire objective universe is Kshetram. From the beginningless Prakriti, Prakriti is the seed, origin, to everything experienced by us today comes under this category. Whatever we experience, it includes the subtle and gross elements, sense organs of action and perception, the mind and its modification. All this comes under Kshetra. But still, Krishna specially mentions here in this chapter body, our body as Kshetram, because we generally do not see the body as a part of this material universe. We see the world is different, my body is different. That's what Krishna says. The body is a part of the world, part of the matter world. And then here we use the word Kshetram mainly to focus on the body, our body, the thing. Okay. Kshetrajna is one simple meaning is God. The man who is residing, the person who is residing in the Kshetram is God. The thing. The consciousness principle which illuminates the Kshetram is called Kshetrajna. Having defined Kshetrajna like this consciousness principle, Krishna reveals that Kshetrajna is none other than the Lord, Brahman, God himself, which is in the form of consciousness in all the bodies. The thing. Therefore, the experienced objective universe, including the body, with all attributes, properties, is called Kshetram. Body is the Kshetram, body is the temple. Imagine that way. The experiencer, self, the attributeless, limitless consciousness is Kshetrajna. God is a consciousness inside the body. Body is a temple. God is inside the body in the form of consciousness. Here the name is given as Kshetram is the body, Kshetrajna is the God inside the body. For simple understanding. The topic 3 is a very, very important substance of this chapter. Chapter 13. Whole Gita we can say. Jnanam. Here in this chapter, Jnanam is not taken as the knowledge. It is taken as the values, virtues and ethics which we should develop to gain the knowledge. The thing. This is very important topic in this part of this chapter. Values, virtues, one should imbibe to acquire this knowledge. There are many 20, 21 in Sanskrit. To make it simple, I'm using the English word and taken the most important thing without repeating. Humility, simplicity, non-violence, forbearance, harmonize, integrate thought, speech and action. Devotion to Guru, purity, internal, external purity, steadfastness, that is firm, Shraddha, that is the steadfastness, self-control, detachment, dispassion from sense objects, then absence of egoism, I, that should be reduced. Then equanimity in all that we have seen in the last 2-3 presentations. Pleasure, pain, everything I take it as equal. That's it. The thing. Devotion to God and seclusion. That is, I spend time with myself to gain some little time to look inward. The thing. These are the qualities, the virtues Krishna mentioned in this chapter to gain the ultimate knowledge. In one word, people tell me, don't use this 20 things. Tell me quickly one word what I should do to gain the qualification. In one word, karma upasana yoga, what we have seen in the last 12 chapters is the quality that gives the quality. Karma gives mental purification, upasana gives mental focusing ability. These two are explained in different words in this thing. Do karma, do upasana in the right way, you gain this pre-qualification to get into Jnanam. This is like TOEFL and GMAT. Karma is TOEFL, Upasana is GMAT. Then you are qualified to get into your master's degree. Simple words. Then Jneyam, from 13 to 19. The Jneyam meaning is the thing to be known, the object to be learned. Krishna teaches the truth. The truth is the Jneyam. The ultimate truth is the Jneyam. The ultimate truth is the Bhagavan, God, Paramatma. This is the truth. That is Jneyam. To be known. It is the beginningless and beyond time Brahman. All pervading, subtle, not located in one location. It is far away for ignorant people and very close for the wise people. You decide how you feel him. If God is far away, somewhere 10,000, 20,000 kilometers away, you are a beginner. God is inside me. We don't even have to say God is me. Inside me at least. Far when you gain slowly. When you finish the next 6 chapter, you will say God is in me, is not far away. He is undivided. It looks like he is divided as a function, creator, sustainer, destroyer, but finally one. Even though a person is a father, is a mother, is a worker, is a cook, is an office bearer, is a Rotarian, and not finally is one guy. Like that is a one person. The thing, depending upon functions, we give different names, but one person, one entity. It is the light of consciousness. Chit, Chaitanyam in Sanskrit, consciousness, awareness. In English, being subtle, it cannot be known in its pure form, very subtle. But yet it shines in the body as awareness and existence, Sat and Chit, and it exists in the whole world as existence. In the objects in the world, like a building or a car or a computer, it is there as existence. Within me, it is present as awareness and existence. This is how the consciousness is available for our understanding. Now, one has to recognize this Jneyam as pure awareness, Chit, and existent Sat by distinguishing and or differentiating it from the body and world. The Sat and Chit, which is real I, is different from body and world. This is a knowledge we have to gain. The thing. Having talked about these 4 topics, okay, Krishna glorifies this knowledge as the one which leads the seeker to him. We call him peace and happiness. For us, it means peace and happiness. It leads us to peace and happiness. That's the objective of all our programs. Now, go to the next 2 topics, last 2. Verse 20 to 24. Before we discuss the 2 names, Purusha and Prakriti, remember the meaning mentioned before. What I mentioned in the beginning slide. Purusha is equal to Kshetrajna, is equal to Jneyam, is equal to Brahman, God. Out of the 6, we said all the things come to 3 only. The Purusha or Kshetrajna, Jneyam is God, Brahman. Prakriti, Kshetram is equal to matter, world, body, mind, complex. That is Prakriti. Jnanam is the virtues, qualities to be gained to acquire this knowledge. So that is all the 3 topics. All the 6 is condensed to 2. The 3 topics. Please remember, Purusha here in the Sanskrit word or in this context is not a man. It is God consciousness. The word Purusha means not a man. It's not a man, not a woman. It is God. It is consciousness. Both Purusha and Prakriti are beginningless. Blessed by Purusha, God, the Prakriti, the matter principle, creates everything or becomes everything. The thing. Though Purusha and Prakriti are eternal, they have opposite nature, which we have mentioned, repeating in this chapter also. Purusha is consciousness, changeless, and Satya. Ever present in the past, present, and future. Prakriti is a matter principle, changing the body, mind, and the activities belong to Prakriti. Whereas Purusha is a mere illuminator of all these kind of things. Silently he is illuminating. Okay, this is it. Not knowing this, when Purusha is identified with the body mind complex and with all the attributes of the body mind complex called guna, which will be explained in the next chapter, then all the limitations belonging to body mind complex gunas and all the things or problems arise. Because knowing our real nature, we are attributing to body and guna, so we get into all the limitations. One who has discriminative knowledge of Purusha, the consciousness and Prakriti, body matter principle, attains liberation from samsara. He gets freedom from the bonding. In our simple rotary language, a reduction of conflict and gaining of peace. Now, 25 to 35, sadhanam and palan. Sadhanam is the method, palan is the benefit. Krishna sums up this teaching and presents its sadhanam, method, and palam benefit. Wise man is the one who always abides in the self, which is same everywhere. Myself is equal to yourself, is equal to himself, is equal to ourself. The self is same. In fact, there is no universe other than self. The world is nothing but myself, the thing. If I am not there, there's nothing called universe. If I am the only person in the world, if I am not there, where is the universe? Where is the computer? Where is the table? Where is the house? Nothing. To gain this knowledge, one has to purify his mind through karma yoga, upasana yoga, and gain ultimate knowledge through inquiry, through jnana yoga. Karma upasana yoga itself, what we've done so far, give emotional liberation, meaning a reduction of conflict and gaining peace. That is our present objective. In fact, to be honest, the first 12 chapter alone gives us the present objective: reduction of conflict, increase of peace. This is already mentioned. By practicing, we gain that thing. Then, what are we going to do? In the next 6 chapter, is it necessary? One who assimilated this knowledge and wisdom of Brahman in everyone and everything, which will all be explained in the next 6 chapter, including me and you and everyone, is totally liberated from worldly bondage, which will be explained more in the coming chapter. Then, when you are totally liberated from the worldly bondage, where is the question of conflict? Getting liberation, reduction of conflict, all those things will not come. But we are going steps only. Only we have to pass 5th standard to get into 10th standard. Let's do it slowly. So, first 6 chapter Karma Yoga, second 6 chapter Upasana Yoga. We already got reduction of conflict and gaining of peace slowly. Last 6 chapter, Jnanam and the pre-qualification. To get Jnanam, that will show I am not going to gain peace or anything. I am Mr. Peace or I am Miss Peace. The thing. So this is how the whole thing is going to be done in the next, let's say, 6 chapters, starting from this one. Thank you all. If you have any questions, you can ask me now or send an email to me at this, whatever I meant, kupuvavin@gmail.com. Thank you. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.
Thank you, Rotarian Kupu. I would like to invite our Chief Guest, PDG Rekha Shetty, to share her views on the presentation by Rotarian past President Paul Harris Fellow, PG Kuppuswamy, an engineer by profession and a Rotarian also by profession now.
how lucky I must be on this Sunday morning to experience the words of the Divine Lord through Rotarian Kupaswami. He's made it all so simple. He's spoken about how within each of us dwells the Divine Lord, Brahman, and once we experience the divine in us, we recognize that every single thing in the universe is interspersed, is part of, is synergized with the great divine. So, where is the question of conflict? Asks our dear divine soul, Kupaswamy. He's made it so simple. He says, God is in all of us. Brahman is in all of us. I don't know if I'm right. See, correct me if I'm wrong, because compared to you, I'm, like kindergarten. Okay. But what I understood was this, that within all of us dwells the great Lord. So within us dwells the divine Lord who experiences everything that we experience, and shows us that within everybody is the same Atma, Paramatma. The same Paramatma interpervades every single uh, creation. And then, if we live virtuously and if we recognize, not recognize, I think experience this. I think understanding this logically is easy, but experiencing it, as our dear Rotarian Kupaswamy seems to have done, experiencing the Lord in each one, because one can feel it in his uh, face, one can feel it in the way he looks at you, you know. And I think he's truly experienced this divinity of all human beings. And I think Rotary is also only that. If we really look at it, they've not understood it to the level that the Gita has described it. But that is Rotary, because you look at people from 173 countries and you say he is my brother. How can you say somebody who does not speak your language, does not eat your food, does not look like you, does not wear clothes like you, but you look at him and say, my brother, because he's a Rotarian and he's wearing a Rotary pin? The same thing is what the Gita is saying. Gita says that I dwell in each and every one, every human being, and so you and I, there's no difference. There's only a bubble enclosing me and you and separating you and me. That bubble bursts, then all of us are the same consciousness and nothing else. Like I think I read in one of the other ancient texts how everybody, human beings are like water in a pot, but when the pot breaks and the water in the pot becomes one with the water in the ocean, everybody and everything loses the difference. See, this individuality is what causes all problems. Finally, I think the whole thing teaches us to be the best person that God created us to be. Because if we have the divine in us, we should also try to become as close to that divine, full of virtues, full of jnanam as anyway. I'm so very happy that I had this chance to be immersed in this ocean of delight